Hey guys, so it's bright and early Saturday morning. It's a lovely day outside. I think you'd call it a John Kerry day. And sun's shining bright in the sky. Blue all around. Barley got wind blown down. Anyways, let's see if we can get something done today. I don't see any reason why I can't have this lip fixed today, and I would say I should be able to get at least, up to here this channel done today. And we'll see how we go here. I'll be probably fixing some of this side stuff along the way as well. I'm just trying to decide if I want to fix this at the same time. So we will see. I'm going to probably have to cut a fair bit of this out. You can see underneath here there's the seam sealer that they put underneath that, and it's actually, I think it's swelled a bit, and push that up because I don't think that's supposed to be quite the contour that it shows there. There was no patch here. This was just filled over. Okay, let's get to this guy. Okay, I thought you guys would get a laugh out of this. This is before welding. There's my patch piece in there, cut to the profile of the backing piece, and I've got this piece of bar stock clamp to hold it all straight in line, and that's just to hold this piece of metal clamped against that, and that's just to make sure that this is at the right distance and in the right location. It's just pinching that bar a little bit, and I thought you guys would get just a bit of a laugh out of that Rube Goldberg contraption there. Anyways, I'm going to weld this up. I don't know how I'm going to hit this very easily. I don't know if it's easier to put the short stubby back end on the TIG and go underneath and go along, or if it's easier to try and go from the top. Probably easier to go from the top. We'll see. Tack it at the ends and in the middle, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've nearly welded in this piece. I just have to do this part here, but I figured I'd show it to you before that abomination, because those are always a bear. When you come to the end of that, it always blows away. Anyways, not too neat. I didn't try and clean up the weld too much. I did a little bit there just to level it off so that it doesn't stand too high. But that'll be okay. And it flares out here, and I'm going to have to do that as a separate piece. I'll terminate somewhere up here where it meets up with this, but it's not any big deal. Probably we know what I'll do is I'll just make it go straight across, tuck under there, and I don't even know what it's supposed to tie into under here. Is that little left of what's there? Anyways. Okay, so I'll weld that, and then I guess we got to make a patch for here, or sort out what we're doing here. I read a couple of the comments there. Greg was suggesting that I heat the goop to remove it, and that sounds like a pretty good idea. I'll just take a heat gun and do that. Somebody, one of the guys had recommended that this whole body be media blasted, and that just isn't in the budget, unfortunately. So that isn't going to happen. And I think that was about it. That's about all I was thinking about right now. Anyways, I'm just rambling. This is one of those situations where it's kind of like, one down, 10 billion to go. Anyways, let's get some more done. Well, you'll notice the door is off, and that's because in all this mess here, I pretty much have decided that the fender is going to come off. It's spot welded on. That's the way these are from the factory. There's a whole seam here that holds it on, as you'll notice. There doesn't seem to be anything left of that seam. The seam is disintegrated. It's basically being held by a weld here, the weld up here, and what's left of the stuff up front here that goes along here and down around there. So, and of course that little brace you can see down there. So, it's coming off, and that'll make it easier. I really didn't want to do that, but it'll make it easier to get to all this mess that's in here. Let's turn the light on. All this mess that's in here, and to the point where this pillar has actually pretty much disintegrated away. So that's all got to be repaired. I can actually even see right through back there. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to. I'm going to say probably not. But anyways, so I'll cut away this weld at the bottom. And I'm not sure what to do at the top. It's probably spot welded. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to every single one of those holes to drill them out. If it is indeed spot welded, I'm going to say it's pretty much a given. What I'll do along here is I will cut along that inner seam. I know the width of this gap, so I can maintain this gap when it goes to, when I go to rebuild this edge of the fender, and all that fun stuff. So, let's get to it. Next shot will be probably of this fender completely off of this vehicle. Well, there you go. Suddenly a lot of hard repairs are going to be a lot easier, but there's a hell of a lot more repairs than even I would have expected. I don't know if that's supposed to be filled in there. Probably not. Or probably, actually. I don't know. Beats the hell out of me. It actually seems to be a fairly regular opening, I guess so. Anyways, that's what all that mess looks like with this off. That's the fender. That's the front part here. It would seem that this car, anything you couldn't see, completely rotted away. And a lot of the stuff you could see. So the back of the fender isn't so bad. It doesn't look not too good. There's perforation on that tip. There's always this preeminent sealer. I guess that would be the way you'd put it. I took some notes, wrote down some depths and notes that I figured I would need. I also wrote did some drawings and wrote some stuff in my logbook. And yeah, there you go. Whew. Well, if I would have done that before, this lip would have been a hell of a lot easier to weld. Okay, well, enough rambling. Let's finish fixing up this mess. Then we'll fix this mess. We'll probably fix that mess. Then we'll start on this mess. Now, if you asked me a couple of weeks ago, would I have ever carried it this far? The answer is no. If I would have known it was this bad, I probably would have just flipped or unloaded the car for what would have been probably a fairly large loss. But even now it's an even larger loss, because now it's even more of a basket case. This is barely a parts car, as one guy said. I think he predicted the future quite accurately. Anyways, on with this stuff right here. We'll fix that, fix that. Well, actually, no, we'll fix that first. Then we'll fix that. Then we'll fix that. Then we'll strip this, and probably there'll be a bunch of fixing there. Big glob of weld there, big glob of weld there. I had to cut a lot of the seams right off. I'll just rebuild them. It just was easier than trying to drill out all those spot welds. Anyways, oh, and much easier to clean all this undercoating off as well. Okay, so this is all of the rust cut out, at least from this point up. Just need a little bit more grinding to knock off some of that loose stuff. Yeah. So I'm counting somewhere in the order of, how many are you counting? I'm counting somewhere in the order of about 6 patches that need to be, 6 separate metal patches, maybe 7, that need to be done here. This piece here, that comes off the cowl, originally came down over top of this. And obviously that needs to be rebuilt so that the cowl is actually attached to something. And that's one. Then this lip, that's the lip that the fender actually attaches to. Remember, I was wondering earlier if this hole was supposed to be here. Well, actually what's supposed to happen is the fender comes down, bends that way, and the fender is actually attached to this lip. I don't know necessarily how far this lip goes over. I'll have to look at the fender and ascertain from there, but I'm going to guess it probably comes about even with this face here, because it's this edge that is the other part that the fender attaches to. There's a flange there. Which, oh, I guess I have to rebuild that too. So maybe that's 8. Oh, okay. So 1 cowl to this piece. 2 is this rebuilding this ledge. 3 is rebuilding this area right here. 4 will be this piece that comes across here. 5 will be this piece here, and this will probably be 6 actually, so because I want to cut out the brazing. I think I'm at 6, 7, 8 is this flange, and there's going to be 9 for the bottom of this thing. So 9 separate pieces just to fix this part here, not even counting these bits down here or anything else up at the front here. So I'm going to be pretty busy here. And some of these are going to be a little bit difficult to do. I might have to do them in multiple pieces. Like something like this might be easier if I did a patch that went along this seam like that, and then bent this flange and you know, attached it in there, and then this piece comes along on top of it. I think you get the picture. There's a lot of work in here, and I'm hoping, you know, once again on the other side, that I don't have to take the fender off. But let's grab our friend Mr. Screwdriver, wherever I might put Mr. Screwdriver, and let's just jam it in there and just see what happens. I had it sitting here a second ago. Oh, there it is underneath Mr. Pliers. Right next to Mr. Lithium. That somebody's going to need pretty soon. Come on, turn on the light. Thank you. So here's the same area here, which the flange actually doesn't look anywhere near as bad. Oop. There we go. There's a little bit of a bad spot up top here where there's a piece of tin foil. Yep, a piece of tin foil. You suck. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a soft spot up there, but it looks like the rest of this isn't too bad, so I'm hoping this fender isn't going to need to come off. But this fender might be coming off anyways because of all this BS. Oh, that's good. This is no longer attached at the bottom. Okay. Well, that's one step further ahead. Ah. Okay. So anyways, believe me, those fiberglass fenders are looking like a pretty brilliant idea. I just don't want to spend the, you know, what is it going to be, $800 plus shipping plus taxes, you know. So, not exactly an appealing thought. Anyways, I don't know. It's about 7 o'clock Saturday night. And I'm just debating whether or not I want to actually start on this, or I'll come out here early again tomorrow morning, because I've been out here since about 7:30 this morning, so I've been out here pretty much nearly 12 hours minus about an hour of chasing lamb time. Ugh. Okay, well, if that's it for the day, thanks guys for watching. Trying to keep positive here. I'm not feeling too bad about this. You know, like once you kind of get a picture of, you know, the extent of things, this is surface rust in here, so I'm not too worried about that. I'll shoot some of that rust inhibitor in here, and then we'll probably shoot some of what do you call it, the weld through primer in here, although that stuff isn't particularly good, but I'll shoot some of that rust inhibitor in here, and we'll call it good enough for the moment, you know. This stuff here, yeah, well, that's the longitudinals that somebody repaired, and they repaired it by scabbing a piece in there. Actually, I don't think there's much under there. I think what I'm poking is actually our friend, the heater channel. Yes, I believe that is the friend, the heater channel. So he seems actually pretty solid. So I might have to redo this, you know, this whole piece here, but hopefully I won't have to completely redo the longitudinal repair. Anyway, so let's get back to saying that thanks for watching, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, send money. Well, if you ever had any doubt that there was deer around here, not that you'd know that there's anything more in deer ears. I don't know if I can see. I lost sight of it. I think it went to low there. Oh well.